Hello, my real estate people. It is your realtor gal here. Today, I wanted to do a video specifically on Parrish and the development that's going to be happening. I'm not going to be speaking to any of the neighborhoods that you already are aware of, homes by West Bay and North River Ranch or Silverleaf, anything of that nature. I wanted to focus on a couple of neighborhoods that you're not going to be able to find on Google necessarily and that will be coming into town in the next several years. Also, a couple of roads that are going in, a couple schools that are going in, roads that are being widened, roundabouts, a couple red lights, and I wanted to kind of show you on a map where everything kind of is, so then you can have a better grasp on Parrish in itself, just in case you are looking to move down here. I am a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker. I am a Parrish resident, so obviously I have a vested interest in Parrish and everything that is going on. So I want to share that knowledge with you. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. I'm going to share my screen with you and get to it. So if you are kind of browsing Parrish, you kind of know where it's situated, right? So here's 275 that runs up to Pinellas County, St. Pete. You have 75 that runs from Tampa, all the way down past Sarasota. Another one of our main roads is 301. So this is 301 right here. This runs past Brandon up north, and then this goes under 75 and then into Bradenton. And our kind of these are our main roads in Parrish, I will say. So we have Moccasin, 301, Erie Road that goes all the way down, cuts through over here. This is 62, and then this is Rutland. These are our main roads, if you will. So if you have come to Parrish, you've been browsing around a little bit, you've probably come off of the 275 interchange onto Moccasin, or you're coming off of 75 onto 301, and this is Ellenton. You're probably coming in, and this is the outlet mall over here. So this is the outlet mall, and then Parrish is right over here. I'm going to start over on Moccasin because they are widening that road. So speaking of some infrastructure and things, I know a lot of people are worried about, the roads getting bogged down because all the neighborhoods that are going in, well, they are trying to make a plan for it. So Moccasin, they are widening to 4 lanes. It already is 4 lanes from Artisan Lakes over, past this Publix over here. But they are widening it, so it'll be a 2-lane road, median with trees and plants, and then another 2 lanes. So it's going to be 4 lanes. They're starting that construction over by 41 in Palmetto. So 41 from 41 in Palmetto all the way through Moccasin to 301, that will be 4 lanes. 4 lanes with turn lanes, and I'm assuming they'll end up putting in a couple red lights on Moccasin as well, just because of all the neighborhoods they're putting in. Also on Moccasin and 301, they proposed a roundabout here. Right here they proposed a roundabout. There was a little bit of pushback from that with a couple Parrish residents that were saying, we're still a rural town. There's still farmers here. There's truck drivers. How are the truck drivers going to manage going around that roundabout? And they're not wrong. I mean, I'm not sure how they will, come to a conclusion on that. So just be aware that there is a proposed roundabout here, or they might end up doing a red light. You never know. So that takes care of Moccasin. I wanted to speak on this Robinson Gateway right here. Robinson Gateway is 280 acres, and this was originally in the plans for a movie theater, retail, commercial, shops, shopping, and restaurants and things of that nature. I would imagine that they will end up probably putting apartments in over here as well, just because, if you are familiar, if you drive down 75, it's apartments all up and down 75. So I would kind of imagine that they would probably end up doing apartments right there, but also commercial. Again, people are worried about the commercial aspect, retail shops and restaurants and just shopping in general. So just know that 280 acres is planned development mixed use, and so that will bring some commercial in. Publix is right here. They just did 2 outbuildings. So here's the Publix right here at Gateway Commons. They just did 2 outbuildings. One I know is going to be a dental office, and another I hope is going to be a restaurant. But they have a second phase over on the other side of Publix, and they are proposing restaurants and some retail over there as well. So if we go up a little bit, this is Carter Road right here. Carter Road. And Carter runs from Buckeye Road, this is Buckeye, all the way down to Moccasin. This is Isles at Bayview. Isles at Bayview is up here. It's Centex, Miranda, and Inland Homes. And then you have Del Webb, which is Pulte. This is a 55 gated community. So this is where the guard shack is right here off of Moccasin Road. And then it connects to Isles at Bayview over here off Carter. But if you take their entrance off of Carter, then there's a gate here for the entrance for Del Webb. But this is all Isles at Bayview right here. If we go up, this is Buckeye Road, as I mentioned. Buckeye Road, just as Moccasin Wallow, it runs from 41 all the way to 301. This is all going to be developed over here. So I wasn't going to really speak to Palmetto, but this is Palmetto on the other side of 75. This will all be developed, and it's off of Buckeye. That's going to be developed, and then this right here, this little triangle, it's not marked. It is, let's see how many acres. It is 932 acres, this little triangle here. And this is owned by Medallion Homes. And I'm not sure why the GIS is showing, but they have already roads put in, which is unusual because if you're on the GIS site, normally what they do is they mark the neighborhood parcels. Either it's approved or pending or what have you, and then they'll start putting in the roads that they had mapped out. But just so you know, this is going to be owned by Medallion. And then if you go down Buckeye, this Prosperity Lakes, this is Lennar. So all of this purple right here, this is going to be Lennar. And this is 1,129 acres that they own. So this is 301 in Buckeye. This will be Lennar. I don't know how many years it's going to take for them to start releasing. I'm imagining it will be a few years. But this is something to consider and, just be aware that it's going in. Just above here, this was Jones Potato Farm. And this was a really big, very big deal to people of Parrish that have been in Parrish for several years, that Jones Potato Farm sold off to Neal Communities. It's about 635 acres that they have right now that they sold to Neal Communities. These other parcels over here are owned by a different LLC. I'm wondering if Neal will try to pick up the other parcels of land to develop all of this over here. So it's just something to watch. There's no solid plans yet. I don't think they've even been approved yet. But the plans that I did come across, and I thought this was important to mention, the plans that I did come across, there was 20 acres on their plat for a school. I'm assuming that will be an elementary school. This was a big deal for a couple of people, a lot of people that are moving into Parrish. It's a lot of young families that are moving into Parrish. And we only have 2 elementary schools right now. And the elementary schools are already getting bogged down with kids. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen when more and more and more people start moving in? So I wanted to make you aware that there is potential, hopefully, for an elementary school off of Buckeye. Also, right next to that, they had a 15-acre county park. Also there, 24 acres of, they quoted it as light industrial, and they had mentioned a microbrewery. So maybe they're trying to get a little bit of it zoned for light industrial so they can bring in those microbreweries and bars and kind of things of that nature, commercial-wise, which is awesome. It's awesome for the community. And so with that being said, this Buckeye Road that's running, I can guarantee they're probably going to have to widen that to a 4-lane as well. And I do know I saw plans that Buckeye would maybe eventually have an on-exit ramp to 75. That would make a lot of sense because if all this is being developed over here, they're not going to push all these people down to Moccasin Wallow to jump onto 75. So they probably will do an on-exit ramp to 75. So that's something to be aware of. Say you were looking at maybe in Palmetto over here, maybe you were kind of, seeing what's going to happen over here. This could be a busier intersection, and I imagine they'll probably put in some commercial and retail over here, gas stations, convenience stores, the typical things you see on exits off of major highways. So just be aware of that, especially if you're looking over here, or you eventually start looking over here at Medallion. So that's Buckeye right there. So this is going to be Neal Communities. This is Lennar. This right here, Havel Farms, this is all Neal Communities as well. So this Havel Farms is actually a part of North River Ranch. So this is North River Ranch right here. If I can zoom in, it looks so small on the map, but it's a large neighborhood. So this is North River Ranch here. This is North River Ranch here. And then Havel Farms, their Neal portion, will also be considered North River Ranch. This over here is Bella Lago. This is D.R. Horton. They're in their final phase. And then this is Fort Hamer Road right here. So this is Moccasin Wallow, Fort Hamer Road. And this right here, this little section here, this will be the North River Ranch Village. So again, Fort Hamer Road, Moccasin Wallow, this is 301, and then this will be that North River Ranch Village that they were proposing some mom and pop shops. I know on their website they show a dry cleaner and coffee shops and things. I hope they keep it a little bit more small town instead of so commercialized, but we'll see what happens. So with this Fort Hamer Road here that goes up, that's a brand new road. I moved in August of 2020, and they were just starting to build that road. So this Moccasin Wallow Fort Hamer, this will actually run all the way up past into that new Neal community. And I don't know if they're going to extend that Fort Hamer Road up into, this is Hillsborough County. That's why you're not seeing it on the Manatee County GIS. I don't know if they're going to run that road up to 75 maybe in Hillsborough County, or they're going to connect it to somewhere else in Hillsborough County. Not quite sure what they're doing there yet, but just know that that Fort Hamer Road will kind of go up here. Lennar is responsible for a portion of that road. Neal, they're responsible for the rest of that portion of that road, which they already put in this part. So Fort Hamer Road here, this goes down to past Erie. But on Moccasin Wallow here, here's the Barbara Harvey Elementary School. And I mentioned in a previous video about the grocery store that's going next to Barbara Harvey. That grocery store is going in right here. I'm assuming it's going to be a Publix. They haven't said yes or no on that yet, but I imagine it's going to be a Publix, and then that will be an anchor, and there might be a couple little retail, fast foodie type places over here too. We'll take what we can get. So Moccasin Wallow, the Fort Hamer Road comes down through here. Here's Erie Road. This is going to be a community college right here. So that's going to be a community college. And then if you come past Erie, this is the high school. This is Parrish Community High School. And all this Fort Hamer's new. So there's a little roundabout here. And then here is where they're proposing that community park, the county park, or not the county park, Parrish Community Park. Manatee County already owns this parcel right here, and they're trying to obtain this parcel right here from FDOT. So to my knowledge, what they're doing is they're doing a little tradesies on properties with FDOT. So they're just trying to get FDOT to accept a different parcel of land that Manatee County owns so they can obtain this, so then they can start building out that park. And again, I've mentioned this several times, that park is going to be, the hub for the holiday parties and hopefully festivals and things like that, because right now they host, Parish hosts a lot of the festivals and markets and things like that over by the bank over here, which is lovely that they have that open space to be able to do anything right now, but that will hopefully move over and be at that park, and it will just bring the community together. It would be awesome. I've also mentioned several times that the downtown walkable Main Street, Parish Civic Association is trying to get that done. I've mentioned this several times as well. They've hired their own engineer, so they're hitting the ground running on that, trying to, get that going. That will be in this vicinity right here. So this is 301. Here's Fort Hamer. Here's where that park is going. So it will probably be in this vicinity over here, that walkable Main Street, like a Mount Dora or a Dunedin. And I really, 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 really think that will come to fruition. I really do. So if we're going to go back to Fort Hamer, because this is important, and this is really disappointing that they did this, and I don't agree that they did this, but they kind of eminent domained a few homes to connect Fort Hamer by the high school all the way down. If you can kind of see this dotted line here. If you follow this, they're going to connect this Fort Hamer Road all the way down to meet Fort Hamer Road on the other side of, this is 301 here. So if you've been driving, this 7-Eleven is almost brand new. Dollar General, this is a dental office. They are going to connect that to meet Fort Hamer. So Fort Hamer, they built a couple years ago a bridge to go over the Manatee River to connect basically to connect Parrish with Bradenton. So Fort Hamer, that bridge, as soon as you go over that bridge, it's River Wilderness, and then on the other side is Waterleaf and Bradenton, and then that turns into Upper Manatee Road, and then that turns into Lakewood Ranch Boulevard. So essentially, from down past Sarasota, that Lakewood Ranch Boulevard turns into Upper Manatee, and then it turns into Fort Hamer, and then that's going to keep going probably all the way up until Hillsborough County. And that's a brand new road. They probably are going to have to widen it, though, because south of 301, it is only 2 lanes. So I'm assuming they'll probably end up widening that, because in the morning sometimes, with the other elementary down over here, it gets a little busy. It gets a little backed up with all the moms and dads dropping off the kiddos at the elementary school here. So we'll see what happens with that. But I kind of imagine they will end up widening this section of Fort Hamer as well. But if I'm going to go up a little bit, backtrack, and go back up to, so the Buckeye over here, 301, I wanted to speak on Cone Ranch and Crosswind Point. So we have, another thing I should mention though, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Erie Road here, so Fort Hamer, Erie Road, they are going to realign Erie Road. If you're not familiar, Erie Road comes and it ends this intersection here at 301. It's a little wonky, it's a little funky. It's hard to see. This intersection is very hard to see. There is a little gas station over here and then the feed store over here, and you can hardly see. So with that school traffic in the mornings, it's hard to see. You can't pull out. So what they're doing is they are going to realign this. So they're going to take Erie and basically swoop it up to 62. And then I think they're going to somehow like just do a one-way, so you're able to turn and kind of get around that way, which makes a lot of sense because, like I said, this area is a little funky, but they better not touch my JoJo's. JoJo's Pizza's over here. If you live in Parrish and you haven't been to JoJo's, please give them a shout because they are fantastic. They do a Chicago-style pizza and they're awesome. So that brings me to 62, which I wanted to speak on Crosswind Point, which I'm sure you've already come across this. This is owned by Homes by West Bay. There's flags out in front of it. So it's Homes by West Bay and Casa Fresca, about 200 acres. So they're phase 1. If you wanted to go to homesbywestbay.com, you'll be able to kind of see their map of their first phase. It's villas and single family homes. So if we go down to 62, this is Cone Ranch. Cone Ranch right here. I believe it's around 1,200 acres. I want to say it's more than 1,200 acres, but it's about 1,200 acres. This is also owned by Homes by West Bay. Homes by West Bay, and there's a couple other individuals on the deed. But this is something to look out for. They've been clearing this little section right here now for a couple of months. I've been eyeballing it myself. But this is something to not look forward to, but, kind of consider, because if you've been looking over here in North River Ranch, especially Homes by West Bay, they're super popular. They do a gorgeous home. But if you've been looking over here and you're seeing these prices go on up, watch this. Watch what happens here, because it might be actually even better. So when I pulled the plans for Cone Ranch, it was 5 phases. It looked to be 5 phases. The plans were submitted in 2006. So when I was pulling up the plans online, it was like Xerox copies of the plat. A little hard to read, but it looked like 5 phases, and there will be some multifamily over here as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be condos, townhomes, villas, but there was multifamily housing and 5 phases. Multiple amenity centers, multiple pavilions, soccer fields were noted in there, and then they did have mention of a large pond that was going to be used for like canoeing and kayaking and things like that. Another thing to mention is Cone Ranch just did a petition to dissolve their CDD, and I'm under the assumption that they will be combining CDDs with this Crosswind Point, since it is Homes by West Bay and Homes by West Bay. They might be doing something similar to what North River Ranch did. So all this is North River Ranch, even though this is Moccasin Wallow and there's a portion of North River Ranch across the road, it's still all one CDD. So they might be doing something similar with this over here. Crosswind Creek, it's owned by an individual out of Sarasota. I'll have to investigate it a little bit more, but I'm assuming they're kind of in cahoots over here, because they wouldn't have named it Crosswind Creek. If this is Crosswind Point, Crosswind Creek, they wouldn't have named it something so similar. So maybe they're in cahoots with Homes by West Bay. Again, just something to watch. Another parcel of land over here is pending as well. So I'm not sure if they all picked this parcel of land up. It's not due to close until next year. So we'll see what happens with that. The first phase of here might be opening late 2022, early 2023. We'll see. But Crosswind Point, this one over here is going to be first phase early 2022. Another thing I just want to mention, and this is several years out, but it's worth mentioning. It's off of 62. It's 5,000 acres. And I'm going to circle 5,000 acres over here. It's probably not perfect where that big parcel of land is. 5,000 acres, so it's 8 square miles. This is not owned by a developer. This is owned by a parish family, a local family, and they are proposing a village, if you will, called Gamble Creek Village. And what they are trying to do is a self-sustainable community and village. So it will still have farmland and agriculture. It will have its own separate village and schooling. I think an elementary school is what they were saying. So coffee shops and grocery stores and things like that. They will have, it's essentially a town itself within Parrish. So they're trying to do something different. I'll link their website below and you can kind of browse their site and see what exactly they're trying to do here. But I think it's awesome. Just trying to do something a little bit different. So they don't want to be like every other, they want to develop it into something that's not like every other neighborhood. Not to say that none of these neighborhoods are gorgeous, because they all are beautiful resort style amenities and things like that, but they're trying to do something a little bit different, keep it more, interconnected as a community. And I think that's great. I'm all for it. I think a lot of people in the community are for it. They don't have set plans yet on it, but they're trying to replicate, or kind of mimic, I should say, a town out in the outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia. Serenbe, I want to say it's called. I'll link that video, actually, the YouTube video for that community below too, because then you can kind of see what they're trying to model it after. But I think it's great. It seems like a great community, and they have a great concept for it. So we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, this is several years out. So, but it's something to keep an eye on, just in case. So we have 62 here. This is pretty much all the development, because there is a development line that developers cannot go past that line to kind of protect the rural and agriculture and the farmland, and the folks that want their acreage and don't want to be bothered. So that, which rightfully so. So there is that development line. So next we have, if we go down from 62, this is Rutland over here, and then that meets Rye Road right here. So Rutland Road, the next big development that will be happening, they've started clearing and burning. This is Rye Ranch right here, and Rye Ranch is 1,300 acres. And when I'm speaking on these acreage, because I know I mentioned all the acreage up over here, and that probably means nothing to you, but I mean, think about that. This is probably 2,500 acres just right here. Think about it this way: 3 homes per acre, 2 to 3 homes per acre, and that's not even including villas, which they'll probably put way more villas on an acre than single family homes. But that's pretty much what's in all these plans, is about 2 to 3 homes per acre. So once you start doing all the math on that, that's a heck of a lot of homes, which is why the infrastructure and widening of the roads and red lights and things like that are going to be really important and to know about. So Rye Ranch, they're proposing 3,300 homes, and then they will have commercial and retail as well. I'm assuming the commercial and retail will go up along Rutland over here on the corner of Rye and Rutland. That's where I just imagine that they will probably do some of that commercial retail. But this is Rye Road down here. Rye Road actually brings you down to 64. So and 64 is in Bradenton, but Rye Road, if you go down here, there's a roundabout right here on 64, and that will shoot you up here. So if you take 64 has all the retail you can ever want. Retail, and Costco's over here as well. Just to kind of give you a little Costco. Everyone needs Costco. So Rye Road here. like I said, 3,300 homes, Rivers Reach, people were really, they were trying to push back on this development here, and it's a little unfortunate, but they didn't win. You know, the developers are winning. So if we go down over here, Twin Rivers, I'm assuming you've come across Twin Rivers. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful neighborhood. Every lot has multiple, at least an acre. And if you go up, I just wanted to speak on this. So we have Gamble Creek Estates. And then we have a parcel of land right here off of Spencer Parrish Road. This is 250 acres. They've submitted plans. Half of the plans were approved. Some of the plans were not approved. So there's a lot of wetlands over here, which a lot of the Gamble Creek Estates folks were pushing back on this development right here, the 250 acres, because it is all wetlands. And so I think that's why the county commissioners were kind of denying a little bit of the plans, is because of the wetlands. They didn't have like a strong case for what they're doing. So just note that that's 250 acres that will probably eventually get approved. And now we have Wildcat Preserve. This is Mattamy Homes over here. It's a gated community. And this is only about 90 acres, but it's gated community. And this is Fort Hamer Road. And then this is Golf Course Road here. Golf Course Road and Fort Hamer Road. And you've probably come across Cross Creek. There's the other elementary school right here. And then we have this Travis 55. It's 55 acres, and it also is owned by Medallion. Medallion's also who did the Chelsea Oaks. This is a more established community, but Medallion owns this right here. And I just very quickly want to touch on this road here. This is Fort Hamer. This is Mulholland Road. Mulholland Road technically dead ends. This is a river plantation. Mulholland Road dead ends right here. And then it picks up over here again in Twin Rivers. They were trying to propose that they were going to connect this Mulholland Road into Twin Rivers from River Plantation from Fort Hamer. So that road, if they were to connect that, that's going to run from Fort Hamer all the way down to Rye. They got a lot of pushback. I will say I think they denied it, but I'm not 100%. I'll have to look back into that. But just to be aware, if you're looking in over here, just be aware that this road could potentially connect to Rye Road, and that could be a positive for you, or that can be a negative for you. I know that people of Twin Rivers and Southern Oaks, they were like, no, we don't want the cut through. They just don't want the added traffic, and especially if this Rye Ranch is going in, that's going to drive a lot of traffic through. So just be aware of that. I just wanted to make you aware if you were looking over in this section over here. I'm going to kind of go back up to 301 over here. So this is 301, 301, 301. And then I want to bring up to Erie Road, which is right here. So 301 and then Erie. This is going to be let me zoom out of the map so you can kind of see a little bit better. This is going to be a Lowe's, the Crunch Fitness, Five Below, and a couple other retail shops that are going in right here. So we are getting a Lowe's. Thank you. Getting a Lowe's. And this is that Benderson project that I spoke about in my last video. So that's on the corner of Erie and 301. And then they did a couple other outbuildings over here off of 301. I'm not sure what's going in there yet. And then we have, this is Parrish Oaks. This is an apartment complex right here. And it was supposed to be an affordable, affordable apartment complex. They haven't released anything yet. I know a lot of people were on their waiting list and they haven't released anything yet. I don't even know if they're finished building. They started putting them up last year, but we'll see what happens with that if they change their affordable option or what have you. But just know that that's an apartment complex right there. So then if we go up Erie, so Lowe's is going on over here. Here's Erie. Creekside Preserve, this is a gated community right here. I'm assuming that they are going to widen this. They took down all these trees. So if you see all these trees on this map, they are no longer there. So I imagine they're going to widen because they're probably going to have to widen it because Lowe's, that's going to drive a lot of traffic over here if Lowe's is going in. And there was a rumor that Aldi was going in over here too, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. It didn't look like anything was on the plans or anything, the advertisements for it. So then if we go up, head up north on Erie Road. this little section over here, this little triangle here, this is about 106 acres. These are all going to be townhomes. And this is Parrish. So technically this is all palmetto. This is all palmetto. This little triangle here, this is technically Parrish, and this is going to be all townhomes. That was just approved just maybe 4 months ago, but they've been clearing it out. And then if you go up Erie, this is 69th. So if you are familiar with Parrish, 69th, you know darn well that this intersection right here, it's a little wonky. It's a little funky. They, I believe their plans are to put a red light right here. Even out this road to be even with this, and then put a red light here, because there is that charter school right here, and people fly down this road, and especially on this corner, and at night it's kind of funky right here on 69th, because people are coming from Palmetto and then trying to come down to Erie, and it's a little dangerous. So they did propose a red light to go in over here. And then next we have Parish Lakes, but right here, this is the Bradenton Christian Middle School. So Bradenton Christian Middle School is going in over here. I believe it's like a charter school. And then we have Parrish Lakes right here. Parrish Lakes runs from Erie Road, and it goes all the way up past Summerwoods. And this is Moccasin Wallow right here. And then this is Buffalo Creek Golf Course. We play golf here all the time. So Parrish Lakes is actually part Palmetto and then part Parrish. So they are proposing, again, 3,300 homes, multiple phases. I think there was 5 phases in here. Also, there was a permit for I believe it was 20 acres, a 20-acre lagoon. Keep this in mind. I was really trying to investigate this because I'm wondering if they're trying to mimic or kind of do something similar to Epperson Park, if you're familiar with Epperson and Wesley Chapel. I'm wondering if maybe it's going to be something similar to that. So I'm going to keep my eye on that for you. But yeah, 20-acre lagoon, they approved it. So this is also going to be mixed residential development. So planned development mixed use, sorry. So they are proposing a couple retail and commercial aspects up here along Moccasin Wallow. And then the rest will be, phased out into residential. Another thing I want to mention is there are going to be 2 roads running from Erie up to Moccasin Wallow. Now this is Sawgrass Road right here, technically. This is going to run up to Moccasin Wallow, and then there's going to be an additional road that runs up to Moccasin Wallow. Right here is the Floridian at Moccasin. This is a 55 and older. They're putting in villas, but they're only for rent. They're not for sale. So I'm assuming one of the roads will run up next to this and then meet Isles at Bayview right here, that entrance. And then I imagine they're going to put a red light right there. And then if we're going to go back to this right here at McClure, I'm not sure what they're doing. I think it's going to be, it should be residential. So I think that really covered the majority of what's happening in Parrish and what's going to be in the future. This GIS is a great tool for you. Keep this in mind. I mean, if you're kind of browsing around the area, they update it often. When I started, I wish I had this video or, even the GIS would kind of look like this when I was looking, because none of these colors were here. None of it. And it was a lot to kind of go through those agenda packets and pull the plans and see exactly what was going to happen to the town. So this is a good tool to use. And even if you're a fellow realtor, familiarize yourself with this GIS system because it's great. So I just wanted to touch on those roads and, some of the infrastructure that's going in some of the neighborhoods. Some of these neighborhoods could be several years out. I don't imagine that this Lennar is going to be coming up in 2022 or 2023. I know this Neal community right here, they've started clearing that about probably 5-6 months ago. So I'm assuming their first phase will come out next year. But some of these other ones like Parish Lakes, their build out time and their plan is by 2036. Do I think that's going to be 2036? Probably not. But that is their deadline for development is 2036. Cone Ranch, five phases. That's not going to be done anytime soon. So with that being said, it is going to be a busy area. It's going to be a good area as long as, hopefully we get our downtown. It will be a little bit different, as long as the county commissioners, stick to their guns and work with the developers to put in some new roads and make it so it's not so congested. I know if you're in Pinellas County like I was, it's very congested and the traffic is thick. I mean, you can't even go 2 miles to Home Depot without it being sometimes 25 minutes. So they are trying to be a little bit thoughtful in the roads and widening the roads and kind of getting ahead of it before it really hits the fan, because it's coming. I mean, look at all this. And the majority of the development really is going to be right here by Moccasin, Wallow, and Buckeye. That's where the majority of that development is going to happen. So as long as Buckeye becomes 4 lanes, this becomes 4 lanes, and they do that Fort Hamer, maybe they will extend Carter or something up. As long as they do that, the traffic shouldn't be so bad. But I would be happy to give you any other information. I know this is a long video, and I know you're probably confused. Long video. I touched base on a lot of things, a lot of different things. So if I can give you any information, or if you have any questions about anything, please reach out to me. Shoot me an email, shoot me a text message. I'll be happy to kind of walk you through what I know to the best of my knowledge of what's going on. If you need any information on some of the new neighborhoods going in, or if you're looking to parish at an established neighborhood for a resale home, I would be more than thrilled to help you with that. Also, if you're a parish resident and you're looking at this going, oh my gosh, I have to get out now, I'll sell your house and I'll move you to Mayaca or up by Crystal River where it's nice and quiet for you. And I know it's disheartening for some of you folks that do live here in Parrish that it was such a quiet town, and now it's going to be something that you really didn't want it to turn into. And I apologize for that. But I'm looking forward to the downtown area aspect for sure. So if I can get you any of this information, if I can help you in any sort of way, please let me know. Again, I'm a Coldwell Banker real estate agent. I'm top 15% worldwide with Coldwell Banker agents. So let me know if I can help anyway. And thank you so much. And I will talk soon.